Welcome to Bituminous Kole. This past week, the Indiana Railroad celebrated 40 years in business, hauling freight mostly in Indiana, but also in a bit of Illinois. 40 years for a regional railroad is a big milestone. So, I'll bring you two shows with Indiana Railroad trains. You know, they even surprised us with a heritage unit. It hasn't gone out on revenue run yet, but it will soon. Gave you a little peek. In the meantime, let's see those red and white locomotives. Let's go to the trains. A special feature requires a special train, a special move, and a rare daylight northbound. Let's go to this train now. The Indiana Railroad has some excellent varnish for a special train. It's good enough to see from another angle. Well, this was one of the coolest trains to catch, and one of the luckiest catches I've ever had. Now, I have another catch of this same train that I'll show you later in this show. Now I want to get to footage that was captured during the week of the Indiana Railroad's 40th anniversary. It is the 40th anniversary of the Indiana Railroad's founding. So on this day, I'm taking stock of what can be found around central Indiana. I'm not going to make it out to Terre Haute today. I'm not going to make it out to Jasonville. But I'll have a look around Indy. Hopefully catch the the Avon Turn, Senate Avenue to Avon Turn. And hopefully catch the Senate Avenue to Hiawatha through Bargersville. So right now, I'm sitting at the little yard. I don't even know what this is called because this isn't Senate. But it's on west by the river, and it's south of Senate Avenue Yard. So right now I'm seeing steel coils, and a lot of times those get handed off to the Louisville in Indiana. So we'll see what kind of action we find today. Also, I'll be joined by Craig Bell. And my buddy Craig worked for the Indiana Railroad as a signal maintainer. So he may have a story or three to share. Ah, here come two of those red and white beauties. So first thing that comes to mind is the fact of this train has two train numbers. It's currently on CSX trackage, and it's heading to a CSX yard, Avon Yard. So it has both an Indiana Railroad number, SAAVT, and it has a CSX train number also, Z478 on CSX. So if you're listening to the scanner while you're out there, you're most likely to hear them call out 478 for CSX train Z478. Right now, the train is on the belt and heading easterly. When we see this train here, the question always is, will it continue on the belt, going some 6 miles around downtown, or will it move up to State Avenue, more or less, and then make a backing move to get onto CSX at CP Dale, and then proceed northerly on the former Pennsylvania Railroad to Union Station before proceeding to Avon. Yeah, this is one of those unusual few locations where ex-Pennsy went to CSX with the breakup of Conrail. Ex-Pennsy, of course, usually went to Norfolk Southern, but not here. Keep Pennsy in mind as we follow this train. As we look at the diamond at CP Dale, we also look down the way towards downtown Indianapolis. We can kind of make out Lucas Oil Stadium, but the rest of it, it's being blanketed by snow. Really dumping down good. And it's just such spring weather. Late winter, spring weather, because the next couple of days look nothing like this and certainly felt nothing like this. And with the train slowing, you come to the understanding that it is in fact going to make that backing move. Let's take a look at a couple of maps that show what the moves are comparatively. The first map shows what it looks like if the Avon Turn goes all the way around the belt. It's about 6 miles. It's largely through downtown. It's grade separated, but it's congested. The next handful of maps here show what the move looks like when there is a backing. The first move goes out to approximately State Avenue. And then once the train is stopped, a backing will occur to get onto CSX via the turnout at CP Dale. In order to do that, it has to go far enough down the way to clear the switch for that turnout at CP Dale. Then it makes the backing move. And when it backs far enough again to clear a switch, it proceeds northerly. I'd love to talk to someone at the railroad because it doesn't look especially like it saves a lot of distance. And it's not the simplest move in the world either. There's some complexity with the switches and moving up and moving back and all that sort of deal. I'd love to know what causes one move to be of preference over the other. Maybe someone viewing right now can tell us. Please, fill us in. Yeah, this is a long and slow move. But one thing I really enjoy taking advantage of while this long and slow move is happening is this curve, or any of the turnouts really with a long train. Just enjoy the geometry. It's really neat to look at from above. Oh, here's an added bonus. That snow we were seeing up north, downtown, here it comes. had a moment sitting here that was a lot of fun. I had a moment while I was standing here at the grade crossing because it stopped traffic for 15 minutes. And there was a truck of city workers right behind the gate. And at some point I looked over to them and they looked over at me and one of them said, "Is it going to be a while?" I said, "Oh, yeah." And they kind of shrugged and all that. And I said, "On the clock, right?" And they all grinned. And now the backing move winds down as they get that train fully into the CSX track. And then once they clear the switch, they will proceed northerly. And we have a view of that. If you want to see the trains from the same place I did, here's the location on East Street. Now for the next footage, I moved from East Street to Sexson Park to see the train proceed northerly and to see the doomed Pennsylvania Railroad position light signals. They were still functioning and in service on this date, March 17th, 2026. And here it stands, sentinel, right next to its replacement, as our train passes by. The train has cleared CP Dale. The snow squalls have cleared themselves from downtown Indianapolis. And our Pennsy position light signal stands for another day or three. We know it won't be long when the replacement stands right next to it. Yeah, here comes the drone. In upcoming weeks, I will have a feature on the Pennsylvania position lights with some close-up drone views. It's amazing how quickly you get accustomed to a little bit of warm weather. St. Patrick's Day, March 17th. Snow's flying. It's like the weather's changing every 10 minutes. As the old story says, you don't like the weather, wait 10 minutes. It's just different types of cold each 10 minutes. Sometimes you get a little sun, sometimes you just have whiteout conditions. But what we had was not white, but red and white. What I came here for, the Avon Turn, and it made them move up CSX rather than around the whole belt. So, caught that backing move, shivered the whole way, but it's fun. Oh, what a difference one day can make. Went from shivering to shirt sleeves. And now in Bargersville to catch the Senate Avenue Hiawatha. There's a lot of variation on this train, day to day. Today, it was a short one, but a good one. Always fun to catch, long or short. While waiting for this train, my pal Craig Bell and I hung out, and he told me a little bit about the crossings at Bargersville when he worked as a signal maintainer for the Indiana Railroad. Let's go to that chat. What's today? Today's the 18th? Wednesday the 18th, day after St. Patrick's Day.
Post-Patrick Day.
Post-Patrick's Day, but the 40th anniversary today of the Indiana Railroad. So Craig and I are sitting here at Bargersville, and Craig was an employee of the
Indiana Railroad, yes.
And you were a signal maintainer.
I was signal maintainer at this very crossing that we were sitting at.
Yeah.
I was the first signal maintainer at this very crossing because they built this while I was working here.
So what was here before that?
Nothing.
Really?
Nope.
No gates?
No gates, no nothing.
Just like crossbucks?
No lights, couple of crossbucks and stop signs.
Oh, wow.
For years. I started with the Indiana Railroad in 2002, and I'm thinking that these crossings probably appeared around 2012, maybe, somewhere around in there.
Okay.
So it was a long, long time that Bargersville had nothing. I mean, I never would come here except if I was going to Bud's for a burger.
Yeah, you were saying, lamenting that Bud's is no longer on that strip.
Yes, that was a great place.
Man, so many bars and taverns have great burgers.
That's true. But you know, it's really nice what Bargersville is doing here. They're revitalizing and really taking the rail presence here and making it rail friendly, rail fan friendly.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And have some safe areas where you can come and even bring your young kids where they can watch the trains. The only problem is there's not enough trains.
Not enough trains.
There's only maybe 2 trains a day on this line.
Yeah, one in daylight.
One daylight, one at night.
That's what.
Now that may change.
I hope it changes.
But
that's well. Yeah. So so the one we're waiting for here is Senate Avenue to Hiawatha, which is 6 days a week, and this one comes in daylight. The Hiawatha to Senate, I think the only days that it could possibly come in daylight is if it's early, for one thing, and then June, middle June, late June, where we have the longest days of the year.
Maybe so, but yeah, that's pretty much a night train.
Yeah.
Now, back in the day, they had a coal drag north every day, and a string of empties coming south every day.
Right.
And trying to think what else they had. You had the occasional train up from Crane.
Oh, yeah.
Which I'm sure they still do, but I don't know when. That one only runs as needed, I suppose.
Yeah, I would expect.
And that was about it. Yeah. They never really had a lot of heavy traffic northbound in this. A lot more traffic to the south. A lot of coal trains coming out of Bear Run. A lot of interchange traffic in the Terre Haute area and stuff like that. A lot of stuff coming down used to come up from Bedford. They're not coming up from Bedford anymore.
Not anymore, no.
But there's still some transloading, I believe, in what's the name? Odin?
Yeah.
I believe there's a town named Odin or something like that down there, which they have a transloading site there, or did. I must say, I've been retired for 10 years, so I'm sure a lot of things have changed.
Things changed, for sure. But when you were maintaining the signals in this area, and that one was built at the intersection, that line still did exist, right? The switch was there?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, this was used as a set out for maybe if they had a bad order car or something. They would store track equipment here. As you can see just down here, there's some rails stacked up, and I think if you look behind us, there used to be a lot of material back here where the barbecue place is now.
Oh, right.
There used to be a lot of material storage there for maintenance of way.
Yeah, okay.
Signal department, I didn't have any signal stuff that would be stored here, but sometimes I'd be up here with the track guys and, picking up plates or what have you, or something for a job that we might be doing somewhere in the area. So they had that stuff here. I think most of that, except for that rail there, has been moved down to Senate Avenue or out to Switch City or Jasonville or what have you.
Yep. I don't think I've ever seen a car in this track that's now out of service.
I haven't seen many, but I know that the excavator that they have, the self-propelled one that runs on the rails that Kurt Allor used to run, would be parked here a lot if he was up here ditching along, up in the northern part of it. There weren't many places to get into the clear. In fact, there's even less nowadays. If you were coming out of here and going north, the next place that you could get off if you couldn't get off the tracks, like with a high rail vehicle or something, the next place going north would have been Banta Road.
Oh. Yeah.
And now that's gone also. Wow. So the next place north from there would be where the IPLY was, and that secondary track that they store on now between Epler and Sumner Streets up that way. There's a storage track there they use up that way. But that was it. And then going south from here, you would have to wait till you got down to Helmsburg. There was a siding there. I believe that one's gone. And then after that, it was Unionville. I believe the one in Unionville is still there.
Okay.
But by that time, now you're at the outskirts of Bloomington.
Right. Wow.
There weren't a lot of places to get out of the way.
Yeah.
Back in the day. Back. I'm talking maybe let's say 20 years ago.
Right.
There were more, but there still weren't many. And that's that.
Cool. So much fun to learn from one who's been there. Happy that Craig could join me for some train action and some stories. But before we say goodbye to Craig, let's revisit that special train that we caught. We've been driving around, just generally looking at stuff. First to see the coaling tower in Sullivan on CSX, then to Elliston, where the famous triple crossing once was, then to Tulip Trestle. Didn't expect anything on Tulip Trestle. Wrong time of day. However, we're on a chase and we caught an office car special or something of the sort on the Indiana Railroad. We went down to Tulip Trestle and there were two women there who told us, "You just missed it." Like, really? The timing seemed to be really odd. I mean, it was way early for that. And they said, "Oh, it went, well, west, it would have been eastbound." I'm like, eastbound? I've never even seen one go eastbound. What did it look like? Locomotive on the front, locomotive on the rear, and passenger cars. Like, all right. So we hurried up and we caught it at a grade crossing.
I got it. Dog.
Ha, dog. Yeah, we got it. That was really nice. I've been holding on to those clips of that special train to look for an appropriate place to put them. And the other regular daily Indiana Railroad action didn't seem to be the fitting place. Well, now we have it with the 40th anniversary. So now I get to show you those two clips from October of 25. And now we'll go back to stuff that happened in the week of the 40th anniversary. We'll go back to that yard south of West Avenue and see the stuff. Now, we're seeing steel coil cars in the yard, including some from the Chicago South Shore. When I've seen these cars before, the LIRC, the Louisville in Indiana, frequently picks them up, and we've seen the moves. I've shown them to you here on Bituminous Kole when they're on the belt and making turnaround moves at CP Dale. Well, one day I'm going to have to piece it all together, follow the whole thread of the movement of these cars. These are coming from presumably CSX. They're presumably going to be picked up by the LIRC and taken southerly on that line. Presumably, I say. I'd love to get a little bit of certainty. Well, that's a project for another day. And in fact, it looks like we're wrapping up this video, part 1, a celebration of the 40th anniversary of the Indiana Railroad. The special train with passengers. We had a long look at the Avon Turn moving through CP Dale. We saw Senate Avenue to Hiawatha at Bargersville. Had a nice trackside chat with Craig Bell, talking about his days as a signal maintainer on the Indiana Railroad. And stuff in the yard on West Avenue, south of the Senate Avenue yard. So sure enough, next Wednesday, it will be another installment of Bituminous Kole, and it will be another Part 2 salute to the Indiana Railroad on the occasion of their 40th anniversary. Be sure and check it out. I'll take you once again to the trains.